Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Road Runners Unfiltered. It's your host, Darian Starling here. UTSA defeats FAU 36-10 this past weekend, and there was a lot that went on. There's some things I'm super surprised about because I didn't expect us to take steps in the direction that we took them this quickly, but I am super, super happy about it. I don't think UTSA is peaked yet, but I do think things are going in the right direction and the train is getting back on the tracks. So the AAC title, the rest of the conference better watch out 100%. But before I jump into all of that, make sure you guys smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. There's also a link to the Patreon in the description. So without further ado, let's jump into my three major takeaways from this game. All right, my first takeaway is just the defensive performance that we've seen from UTSA really over the last 5 quarters when you think about how UTSA closed out the UAB game. But in particular to this one, they gave up 3 points. The defense gave up 3 points. They scored 10 because of a pick six they had. It wasn't 10 points on our defense. It was only 3 points against our defense, which is super impressive. And when you look at some of the performances the defense has put out in, recent games, they haven't been great. I think against the UAB, we were sort of leaky against them, and they scored 20 points. But we still showed a step in the right direction, and especially when you look at the way we closed that game in the second half and predominantly the fourth quarter pitching the shutout there, that just shows you how things can just click all of a sudden and a unit will start playing better. And I think UTSA, just think about it. UTSA has not given up a touchdown in 5 quarters, 5 consecutive quarters. I mean, UTSA's defense, 5 consecutive quarters, they have pitched the shutout. And I think that is what we are more accustomed to. And I'm not saying that over the last 2 seasons our defense was perfect because they were far from it. But what you're starting to see is we are starting to take the ball away quite a bit. We had another 2 takeaways in this particular game. We started taking the ball away against UAB, which really changed the game and swung momentum in UTSA's direction. I think if we continue that and start to resemble that defense from the last couple of seasons, that's not perfect, but they never break. They bend, but they never break. They take the ball away and they give the offense more opportunities to put points on the board, hence giving us the advantage against these teams, especially whenever we have an offense that's as good as ours, right? And I think that, Trey Moore has been amazing this season. I think we've seen so Nick Fortune had him an interception. We're seeing different people in the secondary really start to step up and start to come into their own. And I mean, the front seven was great. Jamori Robinson, there's just a ton of guys on that team. Jamal Ligon has some nice open field tackles. We were getting a lot of tackles for loss. I mean, the defense just dominated the game completely. Our defense showed up and showed out, and that right there is how you start to put together another historical season. You got to think about it, guys. We started last season 1-2 before rattling off 9 in a row, right? So we did get off to a bumpy start this season in non-conference play, but that does not mean we can't turn it around and push forward and still make a run at the title. We just did this a season ago. So right now we seem to be following that same path. That's 3 in a row for UTSA, which is huge. And when you talk about momentum, it's something that I've talked about a ton on this very podcast. Momentum is a huge deal, and I talked about takeaways and forcing turnovers. Forcing turnovers, it gets contagious. It gets contagious because people start to get more confident. They start to trust the film a little bit more, and then that's when defense is fun. And one of the things I also want to note is, did you see how many guys was flying to the football on that defensive side of the ball? Go back and look at some highlights. Go back and watch the game if you recorded it on DVR or whatever the case may be. Go and check out how UTSA was running to the football. That was the most impressive part of that whole performance. Guys were just swarming the ball. And that's what defensive coordinators preach and preach and preach. Everybody to the football as soon as the ball is released or as soon as the ball is handed off. And we definitely showed that. So hats off to the defense. As far as I'm concerned, they get all players of the week. The defense played their asses off. My next takeaway from the game that was super huge, in my opinion, is it was only one catch from him, but Tyke Ogle-Kellogg, him being our downfield threat, our deep threat, our guy that you don't really want him one-on-one with your corner because he is good at adjusting to the ball, high pointing the ball, and he's a big body. He's 6'5", looks like 215, 220. He's a big kid. And he, once again, 42-yard touchdown, beautiful pitch and catch, beautiful pass by Frank. But the pass doesn't even have to be beautiful. If you look at some of the things that he's done this year, you throw it up to him one-on-one, and, that corner's going to have a hard time stopping him from catching the ball. And I think that that's huge because there's going to be a worry when you put that, you start putting enough of that on tape. Like I said, he only had one catch. I think that needs to increase. You need to give him more opportunities to make some of those big plays. But whenever you do start to put someone out there that's consistently making plays like that down the field in one-on-one coverage, defenses are going to see that, and they're going to start having to adjust. And what that means is now if you got a 3-by-1 set and he's the single receiver over here with a just locked up with a corner, that safety on that side can't shade and help out with the 3 receivers on the opposing side of the field. He now has to at least hold position a little bit down that particular hash or on that side of the hash to make sure that the quarterback basically doesn't throw it over here. And guess what that does? When they do that, that opens up Cephas, it opens up McEwen, it opens up everybody on that opposite side. It gives them one-on-ones, and it also just evens the playing field. If they're not playing man on the other side and they're playing zones, well, now you have less people to cover some of those zones. Now you can attack that safety. You can attack that the strong side safety a lot easier because that backside safety has to worry about a big Tyke Ogle-Kellogg on the other side. So didn't want to go into too much X's and O's side of it, but guys, the importance of us having a deep threat and the importance of someone emerging as that. He has enough tape on film now to where they're going to have to respect him when he's one-on-one. He's beating people just running by him. He's mossing them. He's doing it all. That right there is going to pay huge dividends as we continue through conference play and as we continue through this season because they are going to have to address it. And if they don't address it, we just throw it over there and score touchdowns. So I expect Tyke to start getting more and more looks. And I think it would be smart if we did do that because teams got to respect it. But at some point, it's going to be one of those things where it's like you either guard him or we're going to throw one-on-one deep ball downfield to him every time he's single covered. I'd punish teams like that if it was me. So that to me is huge because our offense has been lacking that this season. Think about it. We've had J.T. Clark, Zachary Franklin. We've had 2 guys who were really big, deep threats, right? Which opened up a Joshua Cephas, and it just made our offense flow a lot more. And whenever you do have someone that can take the top off like that, those safeties also, instead of them cheating down to 10 yards, they're gonna have to have some respect and play back in that 12-yard range. So if you do hand the ball off, if you hand the ball off to the running back, once he gets to the second level, if he gets by them, the safety now has a couple more steps that he has to make up in that particular time, and that could give our running backs opportunities to go by him, make a move and get by him, right? So anyway, there's just so much there's so much detail into how much a deep threat will allow an offense to operate, and there's so much detail in terms of what defense needs to do to prepare for a team with a threat like that. And I think with us having a threat like that, it's gonna really pay off. It's gonna be a huge payoff. The last takeaway that I have is that's 3 wins in a row now. That's 3 wins in a row now. And the momentum aspect of this is huge. And I don't mean an in-game momentum, but the confidence that it's going to give the team because now the belief is back, right? Now the belief is back. Now the fans are going to start coming back into the games and praising it. And it sucks that it's like that. It sucks that it's like that, but like when you're winning, it creates a certain feel in the atmosphere that just puts everybody in good spirits and supports better. Everybody's effort toward the team is better. Podcasts get better. Things are just more fun whenever everyone is rallying around this stuff together. So I think that 3 wins in a row, and then we're going up, right before we get to homecoming, is huge. It is huge. It is huge. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. So that's one of the reasons I feel like we're going to be able to make a run because we've been here before. We've done this before. The city is used to this now. We've done that for the last 2 seasons, and I think we're finna do it again. And it's a rare thing, man. There's a lot of teams that will love to be in our particular position. They would love to be in our position to just be able to get some momentum and really start looking like yourself again. Because that's like I'll go back to the thing, and they put this in the hype video, FAU hype video. If you hadn't seen it, you should check it out. About my comments of, oh, when are we going to put together a complete game, right? I think that was the closest of a complete game as we can get. I think the defense outperformed the offense in this way, and the offense put up 36 points, but we were kind of sloppy, if we're being honest. Frank threw a couple of poor passes and that got picked off, and and that, so we got to clean some of that stuff up. But take away those, he was pretty clean, 26 for 35 with 2 touchdowns. I think from a running back standpoint, Kavorian Barnes, 10 carries, Rocco Griffin, 16 carries, Robert Henry, 10 carries. Robert Henry and Rocco Griffin both had a touchdown apiece. But I think our running backs, which in my opinion is the strongest position of our team right now, outside of Frank, obviously, we got 3 really good backs, man. We got 3 really, really good backs. And it's good that we're starting to lean on them a lot more. But, Devin McEwen has been really good. Joshua Cephas, of course, had put in another solid effort. So anyway, I think our offense it wasn't their best game, but we still put up 36 points. So you want to talk about completeness and the team coming in and playing a solid game. That right there is as good as it's as close as it's going to get. It's pretty close to a complete game there. So if we can start building on some of this stuff, man, and carry this momentum into another game and another game until they start piling up. When that belief gets back and we get to rolling, it's going to be hard to stop us. It's going to be hard to stop us. And I think that we're in the very beginning of that, but I'm pretty sure just due to experience alone, I'm pretty sure it's going to continue. So, yeah, we're like a freight train coming, and we're going to mow over everything ahead of us. That's what's going to happen. So really excited about that. Really excited about what UTSA is bringing to the table, and we'll see. But didn't want to go too long, and I will return to doing them live. I just had to do some traveling this weekend, so I wasn't able to have all my equipment and stuff with me. But we will have the live preview game for East Carolina at normal time on Wednesday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. See ya.